It says we're live, but are we live?
Alive or live? Like, are we alive?
Remember Memorex? Live or is it Memorex?
Yes. All right, good.
Well, we have nobody watching at the moment. Zero.
What?
Zero. There, six
Come
people.
on.
6 people. Okay.
I got 4 on mine.
We can start this. I see 6.
I wish you would.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Firebird Friday Live. I'm Brian from Airhead Garage. That over there is Mike.
Yeah, Mike from Lake and Lodge Garage.
And that guy down there?
This guy down here on the very bottom. There's this, yeah. There's that John guy, the Firebird doctor, because he's got a Firebird back in the garage. That GTO, the goat, be gone. So we're.
Is it gone forever?
No, that's just temporary. I've gotten so much grief that the goat is gone, and I'm sorry for those who tuned in to see a GTO being built, but my idea was that I worked on that car because I was going to move. That one had wheels, and really my dad's car was next. It was really supposed to be in line, but you can see how bad this thing is. It really just seems torn apart. I didn't want to have it in pieces and try to move, so I postponed it. But now the Vinyl Village Garage is exactly where we started from. That's why you see this in here now, because my dad's retired. He wants to enjoy this car, and I want to hang out with him while it's done. So the sooner I get it finished, that's all going to happen. So. But once it's done, the judge will be back, and I'll spend my money on it, and I'll finish it. But this car, I make a few bucks, and I don't got to spend my money and get to play cars, so it's kind of a win. So that's like that budget thing. This is the perfect budget. It's not my money.
It's just like the old days, spending Dad's money.
Spending Dad's money. And I still get to be jolly and having fun building cars. So this is the perfect budget. This is what we need to talk about, budgets, right?
Yeah.
So when it's someone else's money. So.
Is Dad watching tonight?
Well, he hasn't logged in yet, but doesn't mean he won't. So.
Okay, so do we need to filter our speech or anything?
Oh no. We play it like it is, so it's cool. So.
All right, good. Let's see. Cut up here. Gus says hello. Bill O'Brien says hello. Lisa says hello. Bowtie Classic says hello. Foster Acres says hello. Wilder9 says hello. Richard Dubb says good day, gentlemen.
He hooked me up with some parts with this car here behind me, so it's pretty cool. So
sweet. Who was that? Richard,
yeah.
Yep. So. Right on. All right. Since I'm feeling a little under the weather this week, does anybody else want to start this whole budget, and then I'll jump in when I can?
Oh well, heck, who works on a budget? Anyone here raise their hand if they ever worked on a budget, right?
You mean actually sat down and went, I wish to spend only this much money, not this much money.
Right. Yeah, this many pennies. Yeah, this many. Well, it turns into, I guess, like this thing. You're building these cars. They're not cheap, and we know that. Now, not all of us have unlimited budgets. I'm not Dave Kindig's clients where they have millions of dollars or so at a car. That doesn't mean you can't build a nice car, but you better have some kind of a plan or a build plan. I can think of an example. You start building this car, then you realize you want to change something. You got to take it all back apart. Well, that's not moving forward. You'll risk of damaging something. And then also, how much money do you have to spend? This car is clearly going to need just about every panel replaced or repaired. That's not cheap. So if you think you can get that done for $5,000, probably not going to happen. So I guess that's where it comes into being. If you want to build a car, I think it's a great idea. That's what we're going to talk about, having a budget and a build plan. That way, you kind of know which way you're rowing your boat, so to speak. Let's say you start building a car, and you're starting to assemble it, and you decide you've got the automatic transmission going, you change your mind, and you want to go with a manual transmission. Well, that's cool, except for the floor hole and the floor pan is cut different between the automatic and the manual. So then you got to rework it. And if you've already painted it, you got to repaint it. So I guess they can't stress enough that having a good build plan is not a bad idea. That way you don't waste time or money, and you don't get discouraged and keep working forward. I'm not the best about following a budget. I mean, I got a build plan, but I don't always count the dollars as well as I should. Now, my dad's car, my dad is super meticulous. I will guarantee probably every penny will be accounted for that gets spent on this, and it'll all be logged and written down. And it's going to be helpful to really see what I really spend, because I kind of shoot from the hip. I know what I built the Mockingbird for. I know what I kind of built the Great Pumpkin for. The Transmarinado, we won't talk about that. There was no budget. I just built it. The GTO, I don't have a budget for it, but I know what I want to do when it's done. So, but I will know exactly to the penny how much it costs to put a car back together. As for the materials, when this one's all done.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's a little different. I kind of set myself on a monthly budget, and then it takes as long as it takes. And if I want to, go a little heavy on one buy versus another, it just all evens out based on that.
Sure.
My wife just said, "Do you even know what a budget is?" And I'm not a budget guy. Even when we do Christmas for the nieces and nephews, it's like $50 a piece. I'm like, yeah, no.
I call it. Yeah,
it's a guideline.
But right, just kind of a general rule, right?
Yeah, and when you, especially with these cars, if you get it in a basket and you don't know what you got, I mean, I've spent more on small things like fasteners and small brackets that I didn't have, couldn't find, stuff like that. It adds up quick. It's it's a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there, but it feels like every week I'm running into, I don't have that set of screws, and I got to find it or go to the hardware store or order it from Ames. Right. So, it's a little, it's really, really difficult to budget this stuff. I mean, you can start and go through the Ames catalog or the Classic catalog and figure out what you need for panels, what you think you're going to get into the motor. I mean, you can get close with that, but some things it's like paint. You have no idea what somebody's going to charge you to do paint these days. And it's going to come down to how much body work and stuff like that. We're lucky enough, we all do it ourselves, but a lot of people aren't like that. So, it's tough to, I agree with John 100% though. You got to have a plan. You got to have a vision in your head of what you're trying to build and how you want to build it. I do like the plan. I like to, work out my projects. Like you see up there, I'll buy, I have totes and they're all labeled for the different things I'm working on, like rear brakes, front brakes, interior, exterior, door handles, stuff like that. And I'll just squirrel it all away in totes because I don't necessarily buy stuff as I need it. I tried to have it before I need it. And, as you're kind of working through your plan and working on your monthly budget, that's what I'll do is if I don't have anything I need immediately, I'll look to what I need next.
What's the next step, right? Well, that's part of having that plan. You got that plan laid out in front of you. You know what's going to be happening next. What pieces I might need. Am I going to do a 4-wheel disc brake, 2-wheel disc brake, leave it 4-wheel, manual, anti-lock, drum, no matter what you do, kind of stuff. But that's why that plan is important.
Are you the kind of guys that have to write down the plan, or do you just keep it all up here?
No, got to write it down.
20 years ago, it was in here. Now, I get memory loss now as you get a little age, maturity, right?
So
I think a rough.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Firebird Tuesday.
I actually use an app, and it's called
an app for that,
and it's called AnyList, and I can sync it up with my phone and my laptop and everything. If I'm looking for something, or it helps me to understand what I need to order, but it also helps me stay focused on what I need to build. Because if you're staring down the barrel of a whole car, you're not necessarily making the best decisions on what to get onto next on the spot. So I like to work from a list. It keeps me motivated, keeps me understand. I can wake up in the middle of the night and say, "Oh shit, I forgot to do this," and put it on my list and not worry about it. So, I very much work from that on everything.
I've got the notes in my phone. I got the notes screen. I've got kind of a rough guideline what I want to do next. And like you say, you break it up in smaller sections, it doesn't become overwhelming. If you try to think of the entire car, I look at this car here behind me, I look at the whole thing, I was like, I don't even want to start. But you break it down. I'm going to do a little metal at first, right? So you first do a tear down, and then do a solid assessment on parts. And then I'm going to get things rolling. I've got a pretty good idea of what I need for parts. I've already walked around the car, but back to that budget thing, I've already kind of wrote down the sheet metal pieces I need to fix the main body shell, not the fenders or the front sheet metal, but let's just say the main body shell. I wrote it down. Then I logged on to Summit. I logged on to Jags. I did Ames. And I also did Classic Industries. And I put all the parts in there and did the best I could to try to get them all the same brand to save on shipping. But it's interesting how Classic and Jags are almost within $10 of each other, the total bill of all the sheet metal. Ames, I don't want to talk about it. It was way over the top. I like their stuff, but they're not the best price to get probably sheet metal from and delivered. especially when you're buying a whole car in a box and having it shipped to your doorstep. But ended up being Summit was almost $500 cheaper for everything. Now let's talk about what that was looking like. The sheet metal cost for this car was just under $4,600 for all the sheet metal I need to fix the body. So it's rough. So
Oh yeah,
you're going to see a whole lot of fun happening here behind us on this car.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah. I did dig through my inventory over there in the third bay. I have a shelf system. Stuff that I've duplicated orders. I got tired of waiting for the back order from somewhere else, didn't cancel the order. So I have an accumulation of body parts, but I managed to find 8 pieces that I need, and that's going to save me $800 off that $4,600. Now, I still got to put it against the car because I still have to replace that part at some point, but I'm going to use what I have. So.
Yeah.
You mentioned. Go ahead.
Honestly, that consumed. If you only had a $5,000 budget, that only bought you the sheet metal for the main part of the car. You got no engine, got no transmission. So, oh well.
Yeah.
So as I said, that budget is important to do a little planning.
And a whole lot of labor. You mentioned, where you buy your parts too. That makes a big difference. Like when I first started this, I heard you talking about Ames a lot, and I like Ames. And never really paid much attention to it. And I was buying a lot of stuff from Classic, but the shipping costs from California to New Hampshire was brutal. Right? Then I figured out Ames is an hour and a half down the road. I mean, literally, I drive by it once a month.
Lucky bum. Yeah.
So, but I've been buying a lot from them, and I really like dealing with them. I know they're not always the most affordable solution, especially on sheet metal. I get it, but boy, just being able to
when you put it in your hands,
ships it, and it's in my hands the next day. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's an advantage. That location.
Yeah, it's
hundreds
everything.
of times. I used to have a local place called the Paddock here in Indy. Years ago, I could drive to the warehouse, 45-minute drive, put the pieces in my hand and inspect them before I bought them, crammed them in the front seat of my 1987 Grand Am, a quarter panels hanging out the window, and I'd drive back home and play with my cars. But that's been several years ago. They closed up. I don't have a local place that stocks stuff. I got places I'll order it for you, then charge a markup, and I could just push the button on the computer myself. So
yeah, it makes a big difference. The shipping costs will. You got to really pay for that. There is real money in that.
Yeah, I got on the estimate from Summit it was only like 300 and some change, but Classic and Jags shipping was $700 for the same stuff.
Wow. I bought the glass kit for this, and it was a $500 glass kit from Classic. I'm like, that's great, no problem. Shipping was $500 on top of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I like Classic. Don't get me wrong. I think I ordered from Jags, which then ordered from Classic, but it could ship it to me cheaper than Classic could have shipped it to me, which blew my mind. When I did I think that was the Mockingbird. I got all the parts, and it said Classic Industries, and I laughed. I was like, I can buy it from Jags cheaper than I could buy it directly from Classic. So, but this time around, Jags did not. They kept the same very steep shipping, so I guess they figured it out. So.
Yeah, don't sleep on their body panels, too. They're Jags branded stuff. Like the doors on this car were actually a Jags branded door, and they were like a couple $100 cheaper than everything else for the pair. And I'm like, well, I'll just get them. If they're terrible, I'll send them back. But they were really good. I can't complain about those at all.
Yeah, and Jags had the dash panel was cheaper than anybody's. It was Jags brand, the dash panel. I was like, okay, but I said you lose some, win some, played the game. But I was like,
I scoured those boxes and all those parts and could not figure out where they were getting them from. So they're obviously sourcing them somewhere. But honestly, I think the Jags brand, they don't do Pontiac fenders. They only did Camaro fenders, and the doors were Pontiac or Camaro, obviously.
Right, they're interchangeable.
So. They're interchangeable for the 67 for sure. So, but I was super pleased with those. But yeah, it makes a difference. You gotta. Yeah, my wife will tell you, I'll be up here working and just go down to the house, sit on the laptop for half an hour almost every night after I'm done, just lining up all the stuff I need for the next weekend.
Yeah, what I used to do though was like I did it on purpose. I put all my order in Jags, put it in my shopping cart, put my order in at Summit, put my order in at Classic, right?
Yeah. Then
you wait a couple, 4 or 5 days. They'll start throwing you coupons normally, get you a little bit of discount to get you to fight. They haven't done that yet. They've let me down. I was really kind of hoping one of them would throw me a bone and 5%, 10%, $50, $100 off, but nothing.
You forgot something in your cart. You get those
Yeah.
emails.
Right. I still get those emails saying I left crap in my cart. I was hoping they kind of like, hey, buddy, I want you to buy this, but they haven't come through. But I'm probably going to pull the trigger come Monday. I'm going to work on Terrence Park. Maybe Dad will be here Saturday a little bit, and then maybe Sunday. But I got a pretty good feel what I need for sheet metal for this. I've done a couple of these. I think I might know a little something about it. But
Yeah.
I might remember a little something.
Been around the block.
Yeah.
Well, I like Ames only because they're cataloged.
I love the catalog. And a paper catalog. I can hold it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm old school. I want to see it.
I read picture fluently.
Yep. A lot of times you don't know what the part's called. I will say their website's not as good as Classic because, like, if you put the wrong name in for something, it won't figure it out.
It just says straight up, go fish. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like the water seals that go inside the door cards. Yep. They call them water shields. Everybody else calls them something else, and it's like, it's. And if you don't search the exact right thing on Ames, you're gonna fight. So the catalog is great for that.
Yeah, do love that.
Like the catalog. Hey, the boss signed in.
Yeah, I saw that.
No more talking about money.
She's got her pen and paper. Mm-hmm.
No more money. So,
like on my Firebird, I didn't really have a budget. What I did is I got the car. I wanted to at least see if it ran before I even moved forward. So I kind of did my project planning in little segments until I felt like it was ready just to go all in. So that's how I approached my little project. And even then, I'd find myself with a couple extra $100 this month, and I bought the whole weather stripping kit. Haven't installed it yet, but it's on that shelf, and it's there for when that day comes.
It's in a tote.
Yeah.
See, I got this sophisticated cardboard box filing system. I just put them in a cardboard box and throw it in the corner. So I'm not the best at bagging. No. I just put it says car parts on it. So.
Car parts.
All the cardboard boxes around here are going to Louis. I got stacks of stuff to take down to Louis next time I head that way.
Yeah, I heard it. You get to visit him, so that's cool. So.
L&L Pontiac.
Yeah, I know. He's got the whole garage going and everything. So he's got the bird cage and all. So I sent him some cocktail shakers, and vibration dampeners. I sent him 4 of them from Indy to his place. It's 105 pounds of madness. So
yeah.
And the sad part was I just hauled them from his house just that past summer because I took that car apart there. I said, I don't want to throw these out. I'll find a home for them someday. And they went right back in a box. So I don't know Pontiac guys. Yeah.
I got a set of those. Did you find you needed them on the Transmarado?
No, I actually had 3 of the 4. They were still in the car. I was missing, I think, the right front. And I had taken the 68 Camaro one and modifying it, making brackets so I could mirror the driver's side bracket and make them. So I fabricated them. But now I had a set. And then the Mockingbird had all 4 of them still in the car. So my dad's car behind me, I have the front 2. But I don't have the rear for 68. I have a set of 69 rears, which are slightly too tall, but they're almost dead fit. So there's minor modifications I can make them work. So.
Yeah, I still have a set. I wasn't planning on putting them in because I got a full frame and an
frame. You don't need them. You don't need them.
I would not. I would think not, but
no. That was the thing with the vibration dampeners. They would isolate like a 45 mile an hour like harmonic vibration.
Right.
The solution was subframe connectors, and in your case, full frame. You don't need them. So.
Yep.
So you can sell those for a mint. So.
Yeah, I know they're not. They're worth some money.
Yeah.
And did you ever take one apart and see what it actually is?
I have not physically, but I know what's inside them. Yes.
Yeah, it's just a weight on 2 springs packed in transmission fluid.
Yep.
And that's all it does.
That's all it is.
Yep. That's all it is. And they each weigh about 25 pounds. So altogether, it's 100 pounds of weight. So.
Yeah. Crazy heavy.
Yep.
That's like I had that 68 fuel tank that I picked up from one of the guys. And Louis like, can you send it to me? I'm like, sure, let me send it to you. I boxed it up, took it to UPS, $150 to ship it. I'm like, Louis, you can call Jags and get it sent.
Order a new one.
Yeah, new one for less than the shipping.
Right.
It's free shipping from Jags.
Yeah. See, man, I'm gonna see from my house in Indy to Kunkletown, Pennsylvania. I think it's the name of the city he lives in. Oh, Louis, those 105-pound box of vibration dampeners cost me $54 to ship.
Wow.
Because I work at this place here, they do so much shipping and parts. I just kind of went to the parts department and I paid our super discounted rate. So I told Lou, I said I expected it to be $200 or $300. I was like $54.
So we'll let him go.
Out the door.
I won one finally. I win. So.
So Gus wants to know: do the shakers get serviced?
They're supposed to be a lifetime item. Unless you break a spring in there or they leak, you shouldn't have to.
Do nothing to them, right? Not that I've ever been told. So
I think you'd have to hit something pretty damn hard to break one of those springs in there.
oh, I would think so. And even then, I don't know if you even know it broke. Right? I don't know if you even know if it broke because it'd be dampened in the fluid. It probably wouldn't really make much noise. So
Yeah, unless it was sticking out through the side.
Yep.
You'd have to Dukes of Hazzard that thing pretty hard to have that happen.
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Right? Holding a beer. So. Yeah. I've jumped cars when I was a little bit younger, but I'm not that brave anymore. I don't like tearing my stuff up.
Because you got to work, you got to fix everything.
I know.
I got some stories about that, but my dad may be watching, so no.
Oh.
How the hell did the front bumper get bent?
So with no plan, so we have to have a plan. That's step number one.
Oh yeah, you gotta know what you're building.
Gotta have a
like right, and it's worth spending the time to write it out and draw it out. And I mean, you've watched us build these cars, all the viewers, whoever watches build these cars, but there's a bit of a method to the madness, especially when I'm putting it together. There's a reason I build the body first, and then I assemble the whole thing. Then I put the engine and transmission on the subframe. And then if you're putting air conditioning in, you better do that before you hang the front sheet metal because you got to take it back off and install the aftermarket air conditioning stuff. So that's why that build plan saves you so much time and grief. You're going to spend a few hours with that build plan, but you're going to save time and money in the end.
Yeah. And make a list and work from it, because as you're working on things, it gets overwhelming. But boy, when you're working off a list and you kind of thought out what you have to do in order, it's also really satisfying to be checking stuff off your list.
Oh yeah.
You look back at the end of the day and said, "Hey, I did 30 things today."
Woo! Yep. I made progress. I tipped the scale the right way finally.
That's right.
And then what about budgeting? Where do you start? How do you come up with a number to even get going?
That's the struggle, boss. I don't know. I don't like spending money because I'm cheap. Ask my wife. But when it comes to certain things, I don't really put a budget on it. If I think what's what I need or what I want, I figure it out. I've worked on a monthly allowance. I call it actually the YouTube money, which I'm not getting rich, but you're talking $400 or $500 a month. It adds up. So you do make a few bucks of this when you start making some okay videos. Now it goes up and down, but that's what I spend on these cars. So you guys watching helps me, I guess, build these cars. Now it doesn't go very far, $400 or $500. But if you don't buy any parts for 2 or 3 months, you got $2,000 or $3,000 in there again, and you just go at it again.
Right.
That's how I've been doing it. Now I do spend some of my own money on that too. But again, if you have a monthly budget works, or if you have a lump sum budget, I mean, like I said, to build a car like you see behind me, depending how crazy you go over the top, but $20,000-$30,000 is kind of where you're at in materials to do it yourself. That's doing everything overhaul, making it like new. Now, you could also say you've got a pretty decent body like Brian has. He's a lucky bum that doesn't have all the rest that we fight here. His budget could be significantly less because he doesn't have to pull it all the way apart and replace lots of sheet metal. So you might be able to do that car for $15,000 or $20,000 to make it, a good solid driver and super clean. So
to be clear, those are unicorns.
Yes, we don't get those around here.
You don't see those very often.
No.
My brother kept the way he did,
If they're that good, you just don't tear them apart.
Yes.
But I was trying to come up with this last couple of weeks, just dollars and cents in my head. What have I spent on this car? I didn't pay anything for it, but I had to go back and pick it up and drag it home and all that fun stuff. And again, by the time I'm said and done with this, I'm probably $15,000.
Right. That's what I'm doing.
And I kind of figure that's a budget budget
Yeah.
ended build.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and it really depends on what you want to do, right? I mean, a budget for something like a pro touring rig is far different than a budget for a stock, a stock restoration. So
Sure, right.
it really just comes down to what you want to have in the end. What do you want it to be worth? And pain point, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the one I always like to stress the most, there's a time budget too.
Right.
Time, you still got to allot some time for a week to get this stuff going. If you don't leave yourself any time, it's the project stalls, you lose interest. But you can't let it consume you either because, happy wife, happy life. And I got kids I love dearly, and I don't want to pass that up either. So you got to do a balance of your time, but you still have to allot time into that budget. Because this stuff doesn't happen overnight. You're investing a lot of time into them too. So you got to put that. How much time per week do you have to put one of these things together? You got to put that in the equation.
You got your day job, you got your life, your family, and then you got car time.
Yeah, playtime. Yep, playtime.
Those three will fight each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got to balance it out.
So we have someone named Ira Bird P that says, "Hey guys, I got a young and dumb problem I'm trying to fix. I forgot to tighten one of the lower control arm bolts, and now the hole is 1 inch by 1/2 inch oval. What would you guys recommend to repair?"
Put a big old washer up there and weld her on.
Yeah.
Now, you gotta fill that hole and rebuild it.
Yeah, that's what's supporting your control arm. That's what's going to keep the alignment in check. Torquing the bolt down really should carry the load because the inside of the bushing has the metal sleeve, but you got to have something to tighten against. The hole doesn't have to be precise the exact diameter of the bolt, but you definitely got to narrow it down so it has something to bite onto again. So really the best repair would be welding. You could stack a washer on that, but you're not going to bite that bushing against the frame to keep that control arm steady. So it really, I mean, could you weld a washer to it? I suppose, but
You
I
could
think
do
it
that.
definitely needs some weld work. It does need some welding. So.
Yeah, I'd fill it in even if I did reinforce it with a washer afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something we talk about too. Is that there aren't a lot of young guys doing this anymore. There really just isn't. I had a kid
he's calling me
here.
old.
Well, I had a young guy show up here. I had a hood, just a regular straight 350, 320, 326 hood. And so the guy calls me up and says, "Hey, I want to buy the hood." I put it on Facebook. I said, "Sure." He's from Maine. I said, "Sure.
Wow.
When can you come over?" He says, "Well, I got to get a ride." And I'm immediately thinking, "Oh, DWE, a guy doesn't have a license or whatever, right?" Well, come to find out, the kid's 15 years old.
Oh,
And he
right
needed
on.
to get a ride over from his buddy who had a truck.
Yeah.
That kid left here with freighted. I mean, everything I louied him, man. Everything I wasn't going to use, I loaded in that truck. And I'm like, here you go, dude.
Yeah.
You got to support that stuff,
Oh, I would. I would have done the same thing. I would have been all over that. So.
And I'm like, if you can't use it, trade it. Do something.
Yep.
But,
use it for bartering. Use it for trading later. So.
Exactly.
Pay it
But,
forward.
it felt good to see a 15-year-old kid trying to build his own car.
Yep.
That's what I did.
And instead of doing this,
Right. There's no string
getting his hands
on
dirty.
it.
Yeah.
No. So Raymond says back in 1988, he did a ground up full restoration of a 65 GTO with 3 friends for $30,000. And that included the price of the car. And he still has the car to this day.
Wow.
Keep that one.
In 88, that was big money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VHP 454 says 68 GTO is getting a Roadster chassis, 13.5, a 2 rear quarter panel OEM 700 each, Ride Tech suspension 2900, 12 bolt Curry rear differential with disc brakes 4900, and a TKX transmission for 35.
And there's no paint involved. That's just the drivetrain.
And
Yeah.
my wallet just fell off the bed.
That's just getting it to roll.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. That's why you got to have a budget in mind. I think that's great. If your budget allows for that build, all that stuff is fantastic. I mean, I'm not hating at all. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But again, if you have a $10,000 budget, it's gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why it's important to have a build plan. Because he says, "Man, I think I'm gonna put a chassis underneath it." You've already assembled the factory frame and all the suspension. There goes your time. There's that word time again, and some of your money. But yeah, can't stress that enough. Do a build plan. Do it.
Yeah.
Raymond says 20,000. I think you said 30,000. Oh well. Wow. Yep. He's the other more budget than I've got. So
Yeah, VHP 454 says the 68 GTO is budgeted for 165.
Jesus. You know, it's insane what you can get for these cars now. It's
done right or done well. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw there's a guy, Skidmark on YouTube, did a Camaro, a 67 Camaro hardtop, Pro Touring. He didn't do a full frame, but he tied it together. He had it appraised for $225,000 Canadian.
Woo!
With an LS swap. And it's Canadian dollars, so that's like $50 here. But
my equation's a little different, but okay.
It's a little different. But still, I mean, $200,000 for a Pro Touring car in US dollars, that's like Christ, it's twice as much as my first house.
Yeah. Yeah, my first house was 50,000, so I get it. That's big money. Should have kept that house. So. That's so much for money for cars.
Have you guys seen a price increase in parts over the last couple of years? Like a big price jump?
I think it's almost double because I used to buy the sheet metal, do a complete body overhaul, and I don't think I spent more than $2,500, and I could get shipping for free a lot of the times because that's when Jags and Summit had a little glitch in their system. Anything over $100, it was free shipping. The Transmaragata, I got all that, even the front subframe. I bought a new subframe for that car. All of it was shipped for free. So that was nice for a while. I think they caught on to that, but I think I had, even with the front subframe, $3,000 in sheet metal in that car. That was everything. So, it's almost doubled, I think.
Yeah, I don't have enough experience like you guys to say how much this stuff cost years ago, but I know with everything else, it got really expensive after COVID. It was just like, wow.
Yeah, it was hard to get a hold of. Those back order issues galore.
Yeah,
I'm not experiencing that this time, but when I built the pumpkin, I fought back order stuff all the way.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up with having an extra set of frame rails. I have extra toe boards. I have extra fender wells. These are pieces that popped up and it said it was available, and I ordered it. It was on back order. So I just jumped on the interweb. Who has it? I'm buying it. And I just left it on order because I figured I'd use it again sometime because I like to build these cars. But that was a struggle. I'm glad the back order problem is not nearly as bad. A few things here and there, but not nearly as bad as it was.
So John Jones says, what do you guys figure the dollar amount of labor hours is at?
Oof. Well, it depends on what you call professional shop or in the garage at home. The DIY guy, it's his money. It's free. And it's just my own hours burning up. But I'd hate to say that the hours I invest in these cars versus I do charge a little bit when they're not my cars. I'm only paying myself $25 or $30 an hour. Not worth it. If I was doing it for the money, I mean, it adds to my budget to build my cars, or I was going to pay for the bird cage if I moved. That's why I've been doing this, but I don't get rich off it. But if I was charging shop rates, I mean, they're $100, $150 an hour. And that's expensive in my books. But the place I work, it's nearly $200 an hour to work on equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They don't pay me that much. I need to renegotiate my contract. But I'm sure they make money off me. But that's for shop labor right now. There's some body shops I've been told still might do it for $50 an hour, but I don't know what you're going to get for that. I can't tell you. So.
Now I got a buddy who does this professionally, and he does Chevelles. He does a lot of Chevelles, and he charges about $100 an hour, and he's a bargain. At that rate, he's one of the cheaper guys around, but he's really meticulous. So it works for him. But all said and done, I don't even want to think about the time I have in it. The time I have in it is for my inner peace. This is what I do for fun.
The joy, right? Right. So it's what it turns into. Because I have typically 600 to 800 hours in a car build. I mean, you do the simple math at $100 an hour.
Yeah.
$60,000, $80,000 just in labor.
Right.
Yeah, I'd love to make that much, but maybe someday, right?
One day.
Yeah. It's expensive, but at least the car values are, and that's what's driving up a lot of these car values too, is the cost to do them for people that don't do it
and do them well, right? Do them well. Like we've talked about in the past. And before you buy a car, inspect it. I mean, make sure you know what you're buying. So
right.
It may, as Louis says, you put lipstick on a pig, but you still got a pig. So
right.
You might have made it look better, but get that thing looked at before you buy it. Or your budget's going to change. You just spent $50,000 on a car and you got to dump 25, 30 in it to make it right. Yes.
Lisa says, my Bird has been unfortunate. It's on its second motor, second transmission, second rear end, and just got done buying all the rear sheet metal for her 67 Firebird.
Jesus, take it easy on that thing, man.
Lisa,
we were talking about jumping cars earlier. I kind of wonder if this one got some air.
Oh, John, your dad's here.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So, tone it down.
Well, we already discussed it's $100 an hour for this car. Remember, that was $100 an hour. So.
Hey, Dad. You heard.
That's not the dad price.
Friends and family discount. I keep forgetting that.
That's like when I have my son help me with something.
Buy you clothes as a little kid. He's going to bring all that up. Yeah.
When I have my son help me with
Johnny.
When I was building my house, I had my son come up and help me a little bit while he was in college. He'd come up once in a while and help us. And my aunts are like, "Are you paying him? Are you doing?" I'm like, "Paying him? I'm paying his friggin' tuition. You damn right he's coming up here."
Yes, that's how this works. The bartering system.
Right. That's it.
Mark Weir says, bought U.S. cash today for an Alabama fishing trip in a few weeks. What? 148 Canadian for each U.S. dollar. So it's $1.48 Canadian transferred to $1 U.S.
Yeah, the dollar's been going up against the Canadian dollar pretty steadily.
So I have a funny joke. Back in like 2007 or 8, I was in Toronto, and I came out of a deli or something, or a donut shop, and there was a homeless guy on the ground, and so I had a $1 US. So I handed him the $1 US, and he looks at me and goes, "Yeah, thanks for the 95 cents." Yeah. I'm like, "You little shit! I gave you, like
more than you had before." So.
Man,
that had to be a while ago.
I don't know, 06, 07, somewhere in there.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. I don't think I had gray hair then, so that's great.
Yeah, look at all this crap I got now.
Yeah, you see this one here? It says, never take a second car apart until the first one is done.
Yeah.
Where is that written down?
It's one of the comments that pops up. I think it's the last one down there. So.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty. I have the GTO, my high school car, now my dad's car. But the thing is different. I got to talk about that budget thing. Not my money, right here. Not my money. So we're going to do this one. The other ones, they cost me money. I mean, I make a few bucks on YouTube videos, but yeah, you get the idea. I promised this car, and I'm going to get it done next. So, and after that, we're going to have a discussion. We're going to finish the high school car or go back to the Judge. Probably the Judge, because I don't know. And of course, that car just needs block sanded. It's ready for paint. So I have a block party. Have all y'all come over here and we can block sand the car. So.
Hey, I'm about ready. As soon as I get over this sickness, I'm ready for some warmer weather and get to do something.
Yeah. Well, see, now that I didn't buy a house, I got more money to do some traveling. So I'm going to go see Louis. I'm going to make a trip out to Arizona.
We all
go back to Hawaii
at the same time. We should all just fly in and invade Louis' house with our criminals.
Put us in the bird cage
and coolers.
We're here to take pictures.
Yep.
That'd be one hell of a live, an actual live where all of us are sitting around
On location.
That'd be
the boss chimed in. I'm supposed to do the judge next. So.
Oh.
Okay, boss.
It's been decided. It's been decided. But I think she wants to drive that car. So it's an automatic, and it's worth more than any car I've ever owned. So I might let her drive it. I will definitely let her drive it. I mean, so.
Is she right next to you? Is she right behind you?
No, she's actually right above me there in the bedroom. I can hear her bouncing around. So
Pounding on the floor.
Yeah. No.
So Gus says another thing to consider with the plan is weather and timing. I know,
especially garage builds. Heck yeah. So.
I'm waiting for warmer weather to do convertible top and interiors.
That's a must with stretching that vinyl. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's why this garage is like 80 tonight, all night. You see, I mentioned this a little bit. And speaking of convertible tops, I mentioned this last week to Jonathan. But I took the rear window.
Oh, laid it out. Yeah.
Put it on a rack. There we go. Kind of stretched it across that painting rack and just put a couple of heaters down there on the floor under it. It seems to be taking the wrinkles right out of it. Just stretched it a little bit.
Fold the heck out of that back window and wedge it in that box. So
yeah. And this one had been in the box for about a year.
Okay. The one I had for the Mockingbird, I think that was like 2 years old. So I'm like, good gravy.
Yeah.
It takes
so that's
some
what's
time.
on the docket for this weekend is doing the top.
Yep. Well, it got to like 65 degrees here today, so I'm feeling the burn right now. It's kind of nice.
Summer.
Yeah.
What was it here today for me? Let's see.
Oh, geez, here we go.
80.
It almost got to 40 here.
Right. Overnight low of 45.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You'll be fast asleep by then. Don't worry about it.
Down comforter and parka and wood
stove going in the fireplace. Yep.
Yeah.
Couple bottles of whiskey. So.
Just stay warm.
Yes. Well, how difficult are headliners? Yes.
Oh, that's one of my next things.
Yeah, I did a video on one on the pumpkin. They really aren't that bad. Same thing. There's always kind of a process, and there's always a bit of a learning curve. But I don't know, headliners aren't too complicated. These aren't all glued on. The only place you glue is around the outer edges. Then you can use that contact adhesive. You spray the top or the headliner before you get it in the car. And same thing, about 1.5 inches around the whole perimeter of the roof. It is a little easier if the glass is out. So back to that build plan thing, I would try to put the headliner in before you put the glass in. It can be done once the glass is already installed, but it's a lot easier to grab the edges and pull it real tight to work the wrinkles out if the glass is out of the way. Again, it can be done with the glass in the car, but if you have a nice build plan, man, I'd try to put that in before doing the glass. But or if you really want to check it out, there is a video of doing it on the pumpkin. Little things like the screws that hold the dome light, the screws that hold the sun visors, go ahead and screw them into the roof, like the Braille method, then you know exactly. You take a razor blade or a pick, and you can pop a hole right where the screws need to be once you've got it positioned. And Brian has the other solution right there. I use magnets for those clips. Those clips work real nice.
Yep. So. Order about 2 boxes, 3 boxes of these, because your entire outside perimeter is going to be nothing but these little things.
Yep.
So
put it in place. Yep.
That is your saving grace there.
Yeah. So I guess to answer the question, I don't know, in the skill level of 1 being walk in the park and 10 don't do it. I don't know. Headliner's probably in the 6, 7 range, so they're not too bad.
No. And again, getting them pliable, getting them warmed up, making sure.
Yep. Lay it out flat.
Yeah. In Arizona, we just
sunshine
sidewalk for a day and
right. That'd be fine.
Practically melted.
Yeah. Now even a steamer, I've seen people use steamers to help work the wrinkles out. I've never done that, but it's not a bad idea. So.
No.
Yeah, I got one here just in case.
And one thing I do need, I'm going to need my cell panes for inside. Because isn't that a
Oh.
separate piece, right?
Right. Yep. And you put the headliner in first, and then
Yep.
those actually have like little snaps that they clip into the roof, and then they tuck behind the not the weather stripping, but the oh my
Wind
gosh,
lace.
wind lace around the back glass and on the side glass around the quarter there, so that'll help tuck it into place. Again, you can use a little spray adhesive on the edges to help secure it, but that's helps keep it into place.
Yep. Get that done. Which that's once the car is painted, then I'm going to focus my attention to the interior. For there's no sense in messing with interior until outside's painted and ready to go. So
Yep.
what will happen? Wilder says my original came apart because of a thread.
Oh,
The headliner. Okay.
yeah, they stitched the sections together and it probably just deteriorated. So. And the other thing about the headliner, the bows, there's 5 bows. Identify the location and where they're at. They're really not interchangeable, but you'll save yourself a lot of grief. I think the front 2 are the same length. The middle one's way different. I think it gets narrow as it goes back, I think. But it's been a while.
Yeah.
Again, I did a video, laid them all out there for it. So
Mark them as you take them out.
Yep. And even the holes in the roof, you can mark them. Someone says put them back where they go, but I have never really done that. There's like, for each bow has 3 holes in the roof, so you can adjust it in different spots. But
so you can kind of adjust
it. Right, you can keep attention. Now, I've seen people say you start at the rear and work your way towards the front. I've always started in the center because the center is not adjustable. It really doesn't have any adjustments. So I always figure you start in the center and you can work your way out and you have those adjustments. So
go back.
Use that with a grain of salt. Do what you want with the information. I'm just sharing my thoughts and the why.
I agree on that one.
On that scale of 1 to 10, Jonathan, where's the convertible top?
12.
11 firm.
Yeah. The first one I did, very first top ever, was on the Transmarado, and it came out really good. So my confidence went through the roof. The one on the Mockingbird kicked my butt, and on a scale of 1 to 10, being happy with it, it looks good, but it has a few wrinkles that it drives me nuts. I hate it. Owner loves the car. He put a bunch of miles on it the other day down in Tennessee, driving around town for the first time. So
yeah.
But I just I wish I could have got more of the wrinkles out. So, but
it's
Actually, I remember making a comment when I did the vinyl top on the pumpkin. I said I'd rather do convertible tops. Well, I'm rephrasing that. I would rather do a vinyl top than do another convertible top. But I have to do one here behind me, so hopefully third time's the charm. I'll get back on that and make it work. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I've watched all your videos, and there's one other guy like Resto Mod or something like Resto something. He did a really good one. But there's not many
first gen Firebird or Camaro convertible tops. All kinds of stuff for Mustangs and Cougars and I think Chevelle. I mean, nothing for F body stuff. So.
Yeah. So I went through all those videos plus the manual. I'm kind of worked out my checklist, and I'm gonna just put my head down and do it.
Yep.
Now was 69 the last year of the convertible until 84, 85?
Mm-hmm. 69 was the last year for the convertible. Then technically, the convertibles from the factory didn't come back into play. Oh gosh. I mean, they sold them on the dealership floor in 86. I think it was 86, 87.
Okay.
But they weren't factory assembled. They were sent off to another company who actually cut the roof off the car and convert them into convertibles. But I don't think it was till the 4th generation that a factory convertible actually was assembled by the factory. Yeah. So, yeah.
Now, on the Firebird, I had a 74 convertible Corvette. And when you would get up to about 55, 60 miles per hour, it bowed. Like the top would whoosh, like
bubble up?
Yeah. And it used to piss me off to no end. I'm like, seriously? Does that happen on the Firebird?
A 74 Corvette would go fast enough? 74 was like almost the worst year. 75 was the worst performing year ever. So I can't imagine 74.
We had the L48 V8 in it. So
305.
It was advertised like the 140 horsepower on the center console, as if
Yeah.
that was something
Yeah.
impressive.
I think it said 195. If I
Oh,
remember.
wow. Okay, well, that was maybe 74. I think 75 it tanked down to 140 or 150.
And
It was awful.
75 was the last year of the convertible for Corvette.
I don't know Corvettes. So,
Just-
it might be.
But because I've been thinking about getting a 67 convertible, but if it's going to pop the little top up at speed, maybe
I
not.
don't remember. Yeah, this one, the Transminerado doesn't turn into a bubble. I don't remember experiencing that, but I know what you're saying. I've seen that before. But I don't think I've had any problem with these because you got a bow every 8 inches apart, and it really doesn't move a whole lot.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm trying to remember. Ours was one in the front, one in the middle, and then one in the back. It was just three. It was,
You got a span of almost probably 12 inches or plus between the bows, so I was thinking it might balloon up.
Yeah. Whitney says metal yellow first red.
I don't know. He's saying good job. Okay, that's what.
Is that what that means?
You got a trophy. You got a medal.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Whitney. Thanks. Yay. All right, questions from anyone out there? If you have questions, let us know real quick.
Oh, wait, what are we at time-wise? Where are we at? 51 minutes. We going to do any kind of trivia this time? You going to give away a shirt? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we can give away a shirt.
Is it the pink one with the racing stripes, or what are we doing this time?
What was the answer to that one? Hold on. Louis sent me the winner. It was Lisa, by the way.
Oh, Lisa last week won?
Yep, she won. Louis told me she was the winner.
Fantastic.
So the answer is 67 Firebird black-faced orange hands. 68 had white hands, blue face, steel with 67 mounts upward, roughly 45 degrees, and the 68 had a 90 degrees base with a 68 clock does not run off the 12 volt. There's a winding mechanism in the clock that gets the plus 12 to wind every minute or so.
Oddly specific, but amazing.
Yeah. Was that ChatGPT? ChatGPT.
If she said all of that, she should get 2 T-shirts.
John.
That is right. Yeah. That's a bonus points for all that information. The 2 clocks were very similar, but the faces were different, same as your 67, 68 gauge faces on the cluster. And the 67 reads 120 speedo, 68's 160 speedo. So, I mean, there's little things. The color of the face was a big thing between black and like a blued metal kind of stuff.
So what should be our question this week? Our trivia question, John.
Why me? Oh.
Really?
All I can tell you is 67 stuff.
Yeah. Well, I should have opened my mouth. I wasn't prepared. I was hoping maybe we could think of something there, but
Well, that's okay. I woke up this morning to a text from Louis that said, "Is your car a factory TH400 car?" I guess, Louis. I'm assuming since the build sheet from Pontiac says it was a TH400.
yeah.
So I had to go outside, take a picture of my center console because I have it all torn apart. Send it to him, and I get, "Yep."
Well, the clue was your car's a 400 automatic, so yes, it would have been a TH400. That's the only option. So.
Okay, Louis. He's been working too much.
Yeah.
That's what I told you. He's tired. He didn't manage his time so well. He wore himself out.
And he's got babies.
Yeah, he's younger than we are. So.
Yeah.
Those kids are keeping pretty busy too.
Yes. Yep.
The little ones.
Yeah, they do keep you busy. All right, so trivia question, huh? Well, I've already ruined one of them, so nope. I don't know. You just pick a number between 1 and 10, and someone guesses it right.
Trivia.
Yeah.
Mike,
I've already
anything?
done.
I'm trying to think of something. I should have thought of this earlier.
Well, I should have too. That's what I mean. I see numbers 9 and 5. I didn't pick either one.
Well, Gus already won. He got his shirt.
Oh,
Gus, did you
okay,
like your
so-
shirt? Did it work? Tell us, Gus, if you liked your shirt.
Yeah. Kind of funny, 9 to 5. That was the numbers we got, 9 to 5. Must be Anchor's hours, 9 to 5.
I see the
Oh, okay. Okay. How about this one? Oh, shirt and sticker are awesome. That's fantastic. Okay. The 3-speed transmission that came in the 69 Firebird, 3-speed manual transmission. What was the interesting thing about that transmission? Because the 4-speed was a Muncie transmission, but the 3-speed was its own little thing that had its really strange thing once you discover what it was that's cast into the case of the transmission. If someone can tell me basically who made that transmission, that's going to be your winner.
So only 69.
Yeah, I know 69 Firebird and GTO both used it. I don't know if 67 and 68 uses it because I believe they came into, they ran out of gearboxes. They said, help! And this is what they came up with. And they're actually a very nice transmission, super durable too. But I'm pretty sure it started in 69 because they needed some gearboxes. They were selling these cars faster than they could make them and making parts for them, I think. That's what I like to think in my head. But
I like that. Let's go with that. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Oh, what Raymond says Ford. Nailed it. It actually says FOMO Co. is cast into the transmission case. Ford Motor Company.
Really?
Oh.
They were called Dearborn transmissions to make us feel better, but they were Ford transmissions. So,
I was going to go with Saginaw.
yeah. So,
Isn't there a song called Saginaw, Michigan or something?
I don't know. There's just Saginaw.
Yeah.
Song.
So the feller named Raymond, he wins the prize. He said Ford, but I said, who makes it? Ford made it. It says FOMO Co. right on the case. So.
Okay. Raymond, get a hold of me and I'll get you a t-shirt. Let me know what size you want too.
There was a lot of weird things that went on back in the late 60s, early 70s around, and a lot of it, my dad was explaining it to me one time, was around the auto workers strikes and the unions.
Yep.
So like they would run out of engines. So like I had a Pontiac Grand Prix with a 350 Olds rocket in it. You know, just the weirdest stuff, you know, and it was all what it's like you said, they got to keep the line moving.
Yep.
So
Yeah, but that was when they used to get away with that. Now there was a stretch when I went to GM corporate engines because they had to call them that because your Chevy may have had an Olds in it, and your Pontiac may have had a Oldsmobile engine in it. That was, you used to go to Pontiac dealer because you wanted a Pontiac engine in your car. Well, that wasn't happening anymore. So GM decided all the cars' engines would be called GM corporate engine. No longer were they painted metallic blue or gold or whatever. They're all painted either black or blue. And then,
right.
So they got in trouble. So people go, oh, that's a GM corporate engine. So we can put that Oldsmobile engine in your Pontiac. So.
Aye. All right, guys. Any other questions? Any other ideas?
Man, yeah. Winning lottery ticket number. Let me know the winning number so budget is no longer a problem. I would definitely appreciate that. So.
Gus has a quick question. You guys have installed the OER hood tax, right? Thinking about getting one from Ames. I just did mine.
Yeah, yours is OER for 67. That was a nice one. Yeah, and I put down the OER brand. I put that on the pumpkin. I liked it. It works nice. It even worked with the, they call it the Excel distributor upgrade where you get rid of the points. So it's electronic Excel ignition, and it still worked with a tachometer. So I liked it. So I would use one again. So.
And then Lisa came in with, can any of you guys give advice on not breaking the new stabilizer bushings on an install? So I know she had 76 Firebird, and I think she broke her stabilizing bushings today trying to install her core support.
Huh. Second gen stuff's a little different. I know first gen you can wrestle it in there. Those little triangle pieces on the fender, you just kind of stack it in there, but I don't know.
On second gen.
Yeah.
Gus says, do they need a gasket? No. The hood tax don't need a gasket. No.
They sell a gasket. That was be an aftermarket add-on. The factory never used a gasket. They just bolted it directly to the hood. The gasket, I guess, helped keep it from rubbing through the paint potential, I guess, but the original would not have had a gasket on it.
And then would you recommend or not recommend, say, a small silicone around the base, or just leave it?
Leave it. Leave it.
Leave it?
So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't. Nope. Because there's a good chance. I don't care what brand of tack it is. You may have to take it off to dry it out. It's still a weak link from the factory. You know, it was a weak link from the factory, and it's also a weak link with the aftermarket ones because the light bulbs just don't seal. That's why they stopped doing the tacks. So.
Why would you have to dry it out?
Well, we live in a place where it gets wet, Brian, and it rains here, Brian.
Rain.
The stuff
we have rain. Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. How about that, right? Shut up.
Oh. All right, gentlemen. I think we're going to wrap this up. We're at the 1 hour mark.
Yep. It's 1 hour, huh? All this fun in an hour?
I know. I'm telling you. If it wasn't for Louie, we'd probably go 2 hours.
Yeah. Blame it on Louie, huh? Blame it on the guy that's not here. All right. I didn't get to show you the project, but I guess you have to tune into the channel to see what we call the Lamborghini. That's the fancy name for the key car.
Lamborghini?
Lamborghini, yep.
I'm looking forward to that maroon color. That's going to be pretty.
Yeah, well, that because Pontiac calls that Flambeau Burgundy.
Yeah.
So we were calling the car the Flambeau. Yeah.
That'll be a pretty car.
Yeah, Lamborghini. So. It's a pays homage to John Doerr, and he loves the Italian race cars and stuff. So we're gonna Lamborghini it up right here.
There you go.
I want to see that on a T-shirt. I'd wear that.
That was before he started selling cocaine.
Oh, you get it. His budget. He went over budget. He needed money.
That's right.
So.
He's getting his budget back in line, right?
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
My goodness. All right, kids. I will see you the next Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be here. Same bat time, same bat channel, right? So.
That's it.
My childhood, John. Thanks. Hey, where's the bat light at somewhere?
Yep.
All right, kids. See you next week, guys.
All right.
Good. We'll see you all then. So,
Bye.
Later.